Hello, welcome to my channel StuckFiles. Today we will discuss about why it sucks to be a center. Being a center in basketball meant everything. You were the anchor, the king of the paint, the final word at the rim. The game literally revolved around you. From Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game to Bill Russell's 11 rings, from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook to Shaquille O'Neal's dominance. The center was the alpha, the enforcer, the inevitable. They didn't just play, they ruled. And if you were 7 feet tall with a decent set of hands, you were automatically on someone's recruiting list. But somewhere along the way, the throne was quietly taken away in today's fast-paced, perimeter-heavy, guard-dominated game. Being a center often feels more like being an afterthought than an asset that you're too slow. You can't shoot. You clog the lane. You're a mismatch on defense. The narrative has flipped and not in your favor. So what really happened? How did the most dominant position in basketball end up struggling for relevance? Today we break it all down. This is StuckFiles, and this is why it sucks to be a center in modern basketball. Section 1. The death of tradition. Let's start with the most obvious change, the evolution of the game. Basketball in the 80s and 90s was built from the inside out. Centers were the focal point. Plays were designed to feed the post. Defenses collapsed on bigs. And teams without a reliable center usually didn't last long in the playoffs. But then the 2000s came, and with it a revolution. Stretch fours started pulling defenders away from the basket. Then came the rise of pace and space offenses. Suddenly, guards were launching threes from half court. Fast breaks replaced post-ups. Ball movement replaced isolation. And centers? They became too slow to keep up. Today, unless you're an elite shot blocker and can shoot threes and switch on to guards, you're probably sitting during crunch time. Big men like Roy Hibbert, Greg Monroe, and Al Jefferson, once dominant, vanished almost overnight. Not because they got worse, but because the game no longer fit them. In short, the traditional center is dead. And the new era? It's brutal if you can't adapt. Section 2. The impossible expectations. So now that the game has evolved, what does it take to survive as a center? The answer: everything. Today's centers are expected to be unicorns. You can't just be big. You have to be agile, smart, skilled, and most importantly, versatile. Coaches want you to defend the rim, switch on a guard, stretch the floor with your shooting, set perfect screens, pass like a guard, and still rebound like Dennis Rodman. Sound impossible? That's because it almost is. Take someone like Rudy Gobert, one of the best rim protectors ever. But come playoff time, teams hunt him on switches. Suddenly his value crashes. Or look at someone like DeAndre Ayton, physically gifted, decent skill set, still criticized constantly for not doing more. You're either not mobile enough, or not skilled enough, or not tough enough. Even if you average a double-double, fans and media will find flaws. And God forbid you miss a free throw. You'll be trending on Twitter for all the wrong reasons. Being a center today is like walking a tightrope every game. Section 3. The physical punishment. Even with the game evolving, the paint is still a war zone. Centers are still expected to do the dirty work. Box out every possession fight through double teams, absorb elbows in the ribs, set hard screens over and over. And guess what? You rarely get the credit. When a guard scores off your screen, the crowd cheers for the bucket, not the pick. When you wrestle for a rebound and tap it out, it's just a stat for someone else. But your body remembers. Centers take more punishment than almost anyone on the court. Knees, hips, backs, all wear down faster when you're 6 feet 11 inches and 260 pounds. Dwight Howard's career was derailed by injuries. Yao Ming, Greg Oden, Andrew Bynum, all gone too soon. Even Joel Embiid, the reigning MVP, plays every season on the edge of another injury. Longevity is a luxury most centers never get. You grind, you bang, you break, and half the time, no one even notices. Section 4. The lack of recognition. In today's NBA, highlight reels belong to guards and wings, crossovers, step backs, lob with threes, flashy dunks. It's the guards who go viral. Centers, even when dominant, rarely get the same love. Nikola Jokic just won a championship and another MVP, and somehow still flies under the radar compared to flashier players. Centers are often reduced to role players even when they're producing star numbers. Their value is quiet, invisible to the untrained eye. They do the work that doesn't sell jerseys, the work that doesn't break into top 10 plays. And that hurts. Imagine dominating the paint, controlling the game physically, and still being seen as supporting cast. That constant lack of appreciation wears you down mentally and emotionally. You could be the most important player on the floor and still feel invisible. Section 5. System casualties. Here's the cruelest truth. In today's NBA, your talent as a center doesn't always matter. IT depends on the system. That if you're in a system that embraces big men, like Denver with Jokic, you thrive. But land on the wrong team, you're done. Plenty of centers get drafted, barely see the court, then get labeled busts. Not because they lack talent, but because they were never used right. Coaches don't build around big men anymore. They adapt them or discard them. And when the system doesn't fit, the center is the first to go. Even all-time talents can look ordinary in the wrong scheme. The position is at the mercy of coaching trends out of analytics, of spacing, of speed. In this era, a center is only as good as the system allows them to be. As we deeply discussed all things in 5 sections. So, why does it suck to be a center? Because you're living in a world that moved on without you. The game that once needed you now questions your purpose that you're expected to do more than ever, with less appreciation, more criticism, and a shorter career span. But despite it all, the best centers still rise. They evolve. They adapt. They endure. They may not always get the spotlight. They may not sell the most jerseys, but they're still the backbone of basketball. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes them the most powerful position of all. This has been StuckFiles. Subscribe for more brutally honest breakdowns, because behind every highlight, there's a player stuck in the struggle.